point that you bring up. Question in the back.
Good morning, sir. My name is Gaurav Batra. I just want to ask one question that, as we all know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs, right? But very less percentage of them reach to your level as you have reached. So according to you, what strategy should be made or what quality should a person have to become a successful entrepreneur, according to you?
I mean, this is a good question. There's always a debate. Can entrepreneurship be taught, or are you just born as a natural entrepreneur? And I think it's a combination of both. See, entrepreneurship is very sort of irrational. It doesn't really make sense because the odds of success are so low that it scares away most rational people. So I always feel like the smarter you are, the less chance you're actually going to be an entrepreneur. Well, it doesn't make any sense because your chance of being a successful entrepreneur is maybe 0.001%. So a rational person will say, well, why should I do it, right? So that's why I would say entrepreneurship is, I feel like it's a spiritual journey. You don't do it for the money or for the odds. You do it because you want to accomplish or build something or leave a legacy behind. And I think the main characteristic of a successful entrepreneur is a person that never gives up. That just doesn't understand the word no. Like no doesn't mean anything to them. Like when I first started, I mean my family said no, my professor said no, my classmates said no, you can't do it. I went and did 300 presentations, every single person said no. First year, there was no money. I lived my friend's apartment. I refused to go home, so I was like, I'm not going to go home. So I went to college in Pittsburgh. My parents lived in New York, so I refused to go home. So I used to live with a friend of mine, and I used to sleep on the floor. Right? I'm graduating from business school, like a top business school, and I'm sleeping on my friend's floor for like a year, okay? Because I didn't have a place to stay, and I refused to go home. I was like, I'm not going to give up. And I think that's the sort of irrational person you need, someone who's very sort of stubborn, says, I can do it, it doesn't matter, I'm going to do it. And I wanted to just at least try my best so that if I failed, at least I knew that I gave it my best shot. Like there was nothing more I could have ever done. So I think that's the character. You just have to have this tenacity.
Hello. So as you said that you've participated in many business plan making competition. So could you please give us some advice as to how to make a good business plan?
So I think the advice that I would give you is, when I look at people when they come to me with business plans, there are like three things that I look for. One is, as I mentioned to you, what's the problem you're trying to solve? And what is that problem? How big is that problem? What is the opportunity of that problem? Does that problem affect just you? Does that problem affect 1 million people? How big is this problem, right? So I also look at the opportunity. And then I look at, can you execute and actually make your idea become a reality? Can you bring your idea to reality? Now, if you can't, have you created a team that can? Because often that, someone's right out of university, I don't expect them that they can do it alone, but do they have the foresight and say, you know what, I can't do it alone, but I've created this team that can help me do it, and then we're going to solve the problem. So it's really sort of, what is the problem, what's the opportunity, and can you execute? Those are the really three things. And everything else is details. What is the competition, what is the risks, what's the reward, what's your HR policy, where's your office set up, those are all the details. But those are the main three things that I look for in a good business idea, in a good business plan.
How did your MBA help becoming an entrepreneur at Carnegie Mellon especially?
Yeah.
And why did you go for Carnegie Mellon? And
Yeah, so Carnegie Mellon, I went there for undergraduate. I studied computer science as an undergraduate. That was one, so I was familiar with the university. Second, just to be very honest, they gave me a good scholarship, so I knew I wanted to start a business, and I didn't want to have, America, business schools are very expensive, and I didn't want to have a big sort of a loan after graduating, because then it'd be very difficult to start a business if you have a big loan. So that was two. I think business school gave me an opportunity to think, and because I knew I wanted to start some type of business, every course that I took, I always had in the back of my mind, what do I want to get out of this course that'll help me start my business? I think it also gave me some credibility in the industry. When I wanted to start a business, people looked at the business school and said, oh, he went to Carnegie Mellon, that's great. I think that sort of helped as well. And the other thing which I encourage everyone here to do is, I formed some great relationships with my professors. And professors are very, very helpful. I mean, they teach, they're like entrepreneurs, right? They teach because they love teaching, because they love giving to the students, and they like being part of that whole ecosystem. And professors have a great network because if they've been teaching for 10, 15 years or, however number of years, they know a lot of people and a lot of students. They know a lot of successful students. So my professors were very, very helpful. They introduced me to a lot of people when I first started. And I'm very good friends with my professors till this day. When I go, I visit them regularly. I correspond with them regularly. So that was a great, great benefit, and an unexpected benefit. I never expected that I would become friends with professors when I first started business school. But that's something I would encourage you to do. They have, professors have a lot of knowledge, and they teach because they want to share that knowledge. Any other questions? Sure.
Some problems in India. Are we going to have you back in the entrepreneurship fold?
I think not. I think I have identified problems, but more from a Google perspective. So a lot of the ideas I've been working on relate to Google. So like I said, a lot of the language issues we're dealing with, the population of, one of the problems is at Google that I face is how do we make the internet more relevant to people's lives?